I have no intention of seeing a new Captain Marvel movie because I'm an insecure, sexist man baby incel or whatever the hell it is the narrative is now. My problem with this also, besides the fact that the movie doesn't look interesting, is the people supporting it, and not because they're supporting it, is how they're supporting it. They're going full on shill mode. Comic Book Cast 2 especially with this has gone full shill mode for this movie. Type in Comic Book Cast 2 Captain Marvel, and it's just shill video after shill video, maybe some news, but or I use the term news lightly. Just shill video after shill videos, crushing expectations and all this other crap. The review bombing, I downloaded the review bombing video I saw, and I was like, are you serious? So his issue was that the people on Rotten Tomatoes are saying they're not interested, but they're not leaving reviews on it. And I'm like, okay, so you mean they're doing the same thing that they do to other films? Why is it so bad for this particular movie? You know, and people are just going berserk for this film and trying their best to make it seem like everyone against this movie is just a sexist. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. For the narrative of people against this movie are sexist, for that to work, you'd have to ignore that people, there are a lot of people saying good things about Alita Battle Angel. You have to ignore that. You'd have to ignore that Wonder Woman was very well received by some of the same people who are against Captain Marvel, or you're even interested in Captain Marvel. You'd have to ignore that. By the way, Wonder Woman came out 2 years ago, so you'd have to ignore that was a thing. You'd have to ignore that some of the most popular characters in fiction are female. Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, Trinity from The Matrix, Beatrix Kiddo from the Kill Bill movies. You'd have to ignore that some of these same people like those characters as well. But now we live in a world where we have a counter for that argument, which is covert sexism. I saw that one. Well, I saw it was regarding covert racism, where people use certain things to hide their racism or sexism. I saw a comment like that somewhere, and I mean, I don't know if it's a thing entirely or it was just this one idiot saying it, but if it is, I am really impressed by you people. Because you people come up with one dumb fucking thing after another in an attempt to refuse to take an L. Like, you want to sit them down and go, listen, you already got the L. You don't have to, you already got it. Just live with it, okay? Put it up on your shelf and realize how stupid you sound. But what is sexist and racist, like, wouldn't they not give a fuck of what people think about them or what they say? Like, what does real sexists not care, and would a real racist not care about people who say they're sexist and racist? They'd be like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. I don't like women and I don't like niggers. That's all I know. Like, oh, okay. Well, fuck you then. You're a douchebag. Okay, well, fuck you too. That's like, would they not give a fuck about that or not? I mean, that's just me. It seems more logical that way. Even though sexism and racism isn't really logical to begin with, I'm just saying. But well, why do people throw around the sexism thing to people who say they're not interested in the film? Did you forget that Wonder Woman came out like 2 years ago? We were all the sexists for that movie. Any hate that movie got, and I use the word hate in air quotes, any hate the movie got was because it was part of the DCEU, which was taking L since 2013. But regardless of that, where were all these sexist, insecure man babies then? Where were they for the Wonder Woman movie? Why are they here for this Captain Marvel film? No one complained when they announced a Black Widow movie. In fact, these same people who are uninterested in Captain Marvel, some of the same people who have been pushing for a Black Widow movie since, like, she first appeared in Iron Man 2. People have been pushing for a Black Widow movie. I even thought that there should have been a Black Widow movie in place of an Iron Man 2 movie, because Iron Man 2 was just a fucking waste of time. Why was there no pushback when Disney announced they would do a Scarlet Witch show on that Disney streaming service? There was no pushback on that. There was no people complaining about that. Why was there no people complaining about an Agent Carter series? You know, when that came out. In fact, some people even say it's better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. currently. Why was there no pushback on that? Maybe it's not because these people who are saying they're uninterested in this film are sexist or insecure man babies. Maybe it's because the movie looks uninteresting and you're afraid to admit that. You're trying your best. You're trying your hardest to put some lipstick and makeup on a pig and make it look like a fucking supermodel. I'm sorry, it still looks like a pig to me. You're trying your best to make this movie seem like a progressive push for women. I'm sorry, but this looks like an uninteresting Marvel movie to me. And I feel like this is gonna get the Black Panther treatment, where it's gonna make $1 billion or at some point, or make a lot of money because people like because of the whammon, and it's gonna get a ton of good reviews regardless of whether or not the movie is good or not. Because they don't want to deal with these same fucking lunatics who call people sexist for not liking the goddamn movie. I mean, we already saw an example of that with Black Panther, where one critic gave it a negative review. I think it was from the Independent. Gave it a negative review, and people online just lost their damn minds. Like it was bear in mind, the movie hadn't came out yet, so there was that. There was also I did a video last year about a group of fanboys attacking this one critic for saying the movie was fine. Basically, the movie was fine. And they attacked her for that, just for not giving it a glowing review. They're afraid of fanboys and all these psychos who want to get their way. And if they don't get their way, they gotta start throwing in bullshit to make you look bad. Maybe they're not the problem. Maybe it's just you. And I already mentioned Comic Book Cast 2. He's been showing hard for this fucking movie. It's crushing expectations and all this other stuff. And I saw one of his tweets pop up on my feed, and he's like, I noticed people were unsubscribing, and I noticed it's because of the Captain Marvel videos, and the ones I do with my wife. I'm like, you're full of shit, and you know it. I bet you it's for other videos too, and I've seen his comment section before. People complaining about him in videos unrelated to Captain Marvel, just going, why am I subscribed to this guy? And who watches this dude? Like, you have people who, your own subscribers complain about you, so still just stop. Cut the bullshit. It has nothing to do with sexist or any of this. You're just a douchebag. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with Captain Marvel, and it has nothing to do with your wife, who apparently was sexually harassed by Film Gob fans. And I'm using air quotes once again because I don't think this ever happened at all. And because I think it's fine. I find it kind of suspect that you make this accusation on Twitter, and then you delete the original tweet. You also, before you even did delete the original tweet, you were blocking people for asking you for screenshots. His idiot fan base is like, why do you need to see screenshots? You don't need to see it. And you all know damn well, good and damn well, that if Film Gob had made the same accusation against Comic Book Cast 2, Armin or his fans, these same contingent of idiots would want proof and evidence. Where's your screenshot? Show us proof of this. I swear, his fans, not all of his fans, but a large contingent of his fans are some of the most idiotic human beings I've ever seen on the internet. I mean, it's like his fans, Andre Cedino and his fans. It's like he's like just below Andre Cedino and his fans, okay? And I would say Boa Man too, but does he even have a fan base? I don't even think so. But his fans are just so completely idiotic. And they are stupid. They are so stupid. It is so sad to watch. It's so sad to watch these NPCs. I say the word NPC, or the term NPC, unironically, because anything he says, they repeat it. And as a matter of fact, speaking of Twitter, I brought up Twitter earlier, I actually wrote a post on him on Twitter. I tweeted something out about him, like a long thread. And he saw this, because I had actually saw one of his comments on my feed, and or one of his tweets on my feed, and I commented on it. It was one of his many Grace Randolphs. I didn't know he had a hatred for her the way he did. Oh, but does that make him a sexist? That makes him a sexist, though. He hates women because he doesn't like Grace Randolph, right? That's how the narrative works, right? You don't like one female character or one female-related thing, and all of a sudden it makes you a sexist, I guess. You know, if we were applying that logic. Oh, no, it doesn't count? Okay, sure. But yeah, he wrote something about her saying that she doesn't admit when she's wrong, and I said, well, yeah, that sounds familiar. And as I was going to copy and paste a link to his Star Wars Last Jedi video, which is one of the videos I had responded to, he quote tweets one of my that thread, claims I'm stalking him. I'm like, no, bitch. I just made a tweet about you and your stupidity. That's all I did. By that logic, you're stalking Grace Randolph, though, right? Oh, no, that doesn't count, too, I guess. But then you got people who like, oh, these people, they're the small, loud minority, and they're just this small, loud crowd of man babies and all that stuff. And I'm like, if they're such a small, loud minority, why do you constantly bitch about the small, loud minority? It sounds like they're a lot bigger than you claim they are. Like, if they're such a small minority, why do you give a fuck what they say? That's just my logic. Like, all right, let's say you got 100 people watching promotional material for Captain Marvel, right? And 99 of those people said, "Oh, that looks good. Yeah, it looks great. We're excited." Why are you bitching about the one person who didn't like it? It's just me. I don't know. It just seems very illogical to sit here and complain about the small minority. If they're such a small minority, why do you care if they liked it or not? Why do you care about the fact that... I haven't seen anyone make any sexist statements about Captain Marvel too. So it must be a really small minority, or either that or you're just making this shit up out of thin air. I don't know. Yeah, you're just creating these straw men for you to sit here and be mad about. I'm just like, where? I don't see this anywhere. I don't see any sexist statements about this movie. I don't see any woman hating about this movie. I see people saying they're uninterested in the film. I've seen even women. They've said they're not interested in the movie either. So are they sexist against themselves? You know, I'm not interested in the Captain Marvel movie. How does that make me a sexist? I just don't want to see it. I was interested in Wonder Woman. I saw it, I enjoyed it, and that was it. You know, I've yet to see Alita Battle Angel, but I've heard some good things about it. Why these same people who say they're not interested in Captain Marvel, some of them like Alita Battle Angel. So what is your excuse for that? What's the sexism in that? Where's the woman hating, the insecure? Just stop. I know you want to defend this movie no matter what. No matter how good or bad it is, you want to say it's a fucking amazing movie. And you know it's going to get good reviews. On top of the fact that it's a female-led movie, it's an MCU film too. That shit's probably going to get like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes for sure. And it's going to make... I don't know if it's going to make a lot of money. I know, again, probably the last time I'm going to bring this dude up. But Comic Book Cast 2 apparently said something about the pre-sales for Captain Marvel were pretty good, actually. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, but so were Solos. In fact, Solos beat Black Panther's pre-sales, too. And Solo bombed. Solo fucking bombed. It was actually the first big financial failure for Star Wars. So, I mean... I don't know what to tell you about that. So I guess pre-sales don't mean shit, you know, if the actual box office isn't good either. By the way, I saw one of his fans say we need to find a way to stop people from boycotting movies. Like, hold on, partner. You can't tell people what to do with their fucking money. Okay, you can't just sit here and tell them, hey, what you gonna do? Take a gun point a gun at them and make them go see the movie? They don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. It's end of story. You can't do nothing about that. Oh, I have a mild liking to Marvel films. I like 8 of them. You know, 8 out of like the currently released 20 films that have been out. I only like 8 of them. Sorry, sue me. I didn't like Ragnarok or Homecoming or fucking Black Panther. Or I didn't like any of the Thor movies, actually. Just not just Ragnarok. I didn't like any of the Thor films. I didn't like either of the Ant-Man. Well, I can't count Ant-Man and the Wasp because I just have zero interest in seeing that. I didn't like Black Panther. I didn't like the first Captain America movie. I didn't like the Hulk movie. I have a mild liking for it. I like 8 of the films, and that's it. Those 8 films are ranging from they're okay movies to this is a great movie. I would watch this again and again. Even the okay ones I'd watch again and again. So it's in those 8 films you have female characters. You have Black Widow, you have Scarlet Witch, you have Sharon Carter. Peggy Carter, I think, was in The Winter Soldier. Although she was more prominent in Captain America: The First Avenger, but I mean she was also Agent Carter, so there's that too. There's been female characters and heroes in the MCU before, and I'm pretty sure there'll be more after Captain Marvel comes out. I do not understand why people are trying desperately to make this seem like an attack on women when there have been women in the MCU before, powerful female characters. Scarlet Witch being the most powerful, I think, so far, until Captain Marvel, where now she's supposed to be the most powerful character in the MCU. Wow, why? And now they're already making her out to be the face of the MCU now. And I'm like, how? Why? Like, man, talk about counting your chickens before they hatch. You're already making her the face of the MCU without even, like, fuck it. At least Wolverine, who was considered the face of the X-Men movies, at least he had a few movies before that became a thing. You know, they had one movie, and then they had X2, which he wasn't in that much of the film, to my knowledge. At least he wasn't that prominent in the fucking story, contrary to people's belief. But by X-Men 3, they kind of made him the face of the franchise at that point, because then he had his own movie with Origins and all that stuff, and then they did it with Mystique again. Not again, they did it with Mystique, you know, with the sequel trilogy, the prequel trilogy. But at least they had movies before that became a thing. Captain Marvel, Brie Larson hasn't even had one scene in the MCU before this happened. It's like, why? You know? And again, no one complained about a Black Widow movie. When Black Widow was announced and they were going to get a female director, no one complained about that. No one said, there was no sexist there. Or there was no sexist for the Scarlet Witch series either. The only people who, and I kind of agree with this, is like, they complained about the fact that you're going to do all female Avengers. Like, why would you do that? This has never really worked. I mean, even, like, if Ghostbusters was any indication, this shit doesn't work unless you make it good. So, I mean, go for it, I guess. But I don't think this is going to work at all. Like, to my knowledge, I don't even think there was an all-female Avengers in the comics. I don't think there were. Maybe I have to look it up later, but I don't think there was an all-female Avengers in the comics. But I'm really sick of these people who just throw around words like sexist and racist against people who probably don't have a sexist or racist bone in their body. You're gonna throw that around to shame them into watching a movie they just don't have an interest in? If you got an interest in it, good for you. But why must everyone else be shamed into watching this because you want to like it no matter what, because for your own superficial bullshit reasons? I mean, it's gotten to a point now where we live in a post-evidence world. So now accusations are the evidence. So you can accuse someone of being a sexist or a rapist. Yeah, I was gonna say racist. That too, actually, rapist. You accuse anyone of being anything with no evidence, and you're expected to be believed no matter what because you made the accusation. And it is because of stuff like that I go, from now on, I want explicit evidence of all of this. Sexism, racism. I want explicit evidence of all of this. Don't be mad at me. I mean, you did this to yourselves. You throw these accusations around like it's nothing. Like it's not a damaging thing. Or you know it's damaging and you just do it to hurt people. Now I want explicit evidence of this. Like with Armin and his wife getting rapey comments and all that stuff. I want explicit evidence because I don't trust anybody anymore when it comes to this shit. Between that and fucking what's his name, Jesse Smollett. How the hell you get charged as a suspect in your own attack? Or how you become a suspect in your own attack? How does that happen? Like, imagine that. Nah, like, hey, if you want to call anybody, myself included, a sexist just because they don't want to see a Captain Marvel movie, you can kindly go fuck yourself. So I was just about to produce the video because I use Cyberlink and they say produce. So I was about to hit, as soon as I was about to hit, or ready to hit produce, I see this other story fall into my lap about apparently the audience interest score. You know, the whole review bombing, quote unquote, I was talking about earlier, which isn't really review bombing. They're just saying they're not interested in the movie, and that's it. They're expressing their disinterest. Apparently that's now gone. It's now non-applicable, and they got rid of it. And Rotten Tomatoes claims they did it to prevent trolls from doing it. Which is hilarious. It's hysterical to see people go to such lengths to protect this film. And it's funny because I see people complaining. I see more people in that comments section, I guess you can call it. I don't know what exactly to call it. I've seen more people complain about trolls and insecure men and man babies and sexist. I see more people defend this movie and complaining about those people than actual insecure men, man babies, and sexist. I've seen, it's like amazing to me. It's almost like they're creating their own straw men to be pissy and mad at. It's like, this is pathetic. This is pitiful. This is not the first movie this happened to, and it won't be the last movie this happened to. And I guarantee it won't, depending on what the agenda is, what the narrative is, they will never do this to another movie. Do you think if they did this right now to like Shazam or Spider-Man Far From Home, do you really think Rotten Tomatoes is going to go out of their way to remove those, to remove the whole feature? I mean, they even did it with Black Panther, didn't they? They like deleted a bunch of like quote-unquote racist comments. Again, in this post-evidence world, we're not even sure if these comments were even really racist. They were just comments that, you know, Rotten Tomatoes just wanted to get rid of to make this movie seem better than it actually was. And I feel like they're going to do it here. They're going to start filtering comments and reviews, no matter how valid the criticism is. They're going to filter them out and say, no, we don't want yours. We're going to get rid of yours. Yours is gone. And I can guarantee you that this movie is going to get overwhelmingly positive reviews. Like, overwhelmingly. Almost like 100% pretty much. Because of this. It's going to get that because of the real crybabies, the real insecure people, the real man children, the ones who create these straw men out of nowhere and say that they're just sexist, they hate women. They just hate women. No, they don't hate women, you retard. They hate this movie, or not even the movie. They just don't like what they see, what they've been showing. What you idiots need to realize is that trailers are advertisements. Look at Avengers Endgame. It's a 2-minute advertisement for the movie. It's their PowerPoint presentation. It's the Russo brothers coming in and saying, okay, here's our presentation to you of what you can expect from Avengers Endgame. You watch it and then you go, all right, you're not interested? Okay, no problem. Oh, you are interested? If you want to see more, we have another 2 hours of this shit, or actually 3 hours. Is a 3-hour cut of this movie? That's wild. But we have another 3 hours of this coming up in April. You can go watch it then. People seen the Captain Marvel trailers. They saw them and like, all right, this doesn't look very interesting. It doesn't look very good. You know, this is pretty bland. And people expressed that, and now they're trying to defend this at all costs by grasping at straws. These people who are gonna like this no matter what because of they want to see women empowerment, which is like, okay, fine, female empowerment, sure, but I mean the movie has to also look interesting, and it doesn't. So what else can we do? What do you want us to do? These people are now grasping at straws to defend this film at all costs, and it's really sickening at this point. And again, no one complained about a Black Widow movie. See, if you bring up these things, they're going to sit here and ignore this. They're going to ignore the fact that people are promoting Alita Battle Angel over Captain Marvel, that no one complained about a Black Widow movie, no one complained about the other female characters in the MCU, but thus far. I mean, maybe it's just me, but maybe I feel like Marvel's trying to slowly push some sort of mild agenda on us, already claiming that this character is going to be the face of the MCU. Again, like I said, she has to have a movie first before we can make that claim. I know you guys are cocky and you know you're going to make money no matter what, because people just watch anything and die on a hill for your franchise. But I mean, can we not be so cocky as that we were pulling the cart before the horse? Can we at least wait to see how people receive Captain Marvel? I mean, again, we know you're cocky. We know you're going to make money and get good reviews because you're the MCU. But when you start making these big claims, like, can we at least see who this character is first? Or at least get some mild interest in it? Some people aren't interested in it because the marketing kind of sucks. So it's like, all right, well, whatever. This movie doesn't look that good. Sorry. But people want to use the sexism and the racism and all this other shit. They're trying to say that's the same with Star Wars. Oh, we know why people hated it. They don't like women and Asians. It's like, that's stupid. The movie is terribly written, okay? When a character like Rey has plot armor so thick that they digitally erase a character's knife in the same shot. Not like, all right, the Praetorian Guard had a knife in one shot, and in the next shot he doesn't have it anymore. That's a little editing error. That's fine. But when the character has a knife in the same shot, and then he raises the hand he had the knife in over the back of Rey's head, and the knife is now digitally gone. What? What am I supposed to think? That's good. That's a good movie. This is a disaster. It's a disastrous film. Hate to break that to you. It's not a good movie. Oof. And it's like, I feel like the people who try to defend these things, like Captain Marvel, The Last Jedi, they're more cancerous than the people they claim are the cancerous ones. I've seen these people complain more about sexism and incels and all this other shit than actual people than actual incels and sexists and all this other shit. So apparently these people don't exist. You keep putting up these straw men, but it's not gonna work. But that's where we are now. Rotten Tomatoes is now censoring people who are not interested in the film. They're now mad that people don't want to see the movie. Have they ever done this to any film that wasn't a Marvel movie or Disney related film? Because I don't remember seeing them doing this for Ghostbusters. I don't remember seeing them do this for any other film. Like, maybe, I think, didn't Fantastic Four get this too? I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four got that same treatment, sort of. I highly doubt anyone wanted to see the movie to begin with, so I'm assuming it had gotten that before the movie's release. You know, the Emoji Movie. Did you do it for the Emoji Movie? No? Okay. But you'll do it for Captain Marvel. You'll do it for Black Panther, and you'll inevitably. It's inevitable. They're gonna inevitably do it for Episode 9, Star Wars Episode 9. So I can see that coming a mile away. That's like I'm prophesizing that right now. It's gonna happen for Episode 9. So yeah. This is the narrative we're running with now. People who are against this movie, they're all trolls, they're all sexist, they're all incels and insecure little boys and man babies. In reality, no. We're not the insecure ones. We're not the babies. You are the crybabies. You're the one crying about all these people. I've yet to see one person complain about the character Captain Marvel's gender. You know, but you know, I guess whatever narrative works for you to make you feel like a hero. You know, it kind of reminds me of like Syndrome in The Incredibles. You know, when he like creates that Omni Droid, and he has an enemy of his, so he could beat it and come off as a hero for the public. It's like that, except it's like that if Syndrome, because Syndrome clearly knew because that was clearly the plan for Syndrome. It was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna come off as a hero. I'm gonna retire, sell my weapons, and all this other stuff. But with people like this, Armin and any of these other fucking leaders pushing this sexism narrative, it's like they actually believe they're the heroes. They actually defeated the bad guys, and it's really like, no, you're not. There's no bad guys here. This is all something you created. You created these enemies. We're not the enemies here. You created this. We're not the bad guys. All we did was express our disinterest. Some people don't like some of the things Brie Larson said. Okay, whatever. Some people don't like the Captain Marvel character because she's an SJW in the comic books. Okay, whatever. But that's it. No one cares that Brie Larson's a woman. No one gives a shit. No one cares at all. No one cared about the women in Black Panther. No one cared about Black Widow. No one cared about Scarlet Witch. No one cared about Pepper Potts. No one cared about Jane Foster or Betty Ross or what's the one in Peggy Carter or Sharon Carter. No one cares about these people, these characters that much. You don't hear no one complain about the women in those movies. And some of them are pretty prominent throughout all of those films. No one complained about Gamora or Nebula or Proxima Midnight in Infinity War. She was Infinity War. No one complained about Mantis. No one complained about these characters. But now we're saying we're not interested in this one movie with this one character, all of a sudden, y'all sexist. No, you're stupid. You're just fucking stupid.